We see a lot of items go in and out of the gold and silver pawn shop, but God, are some of them expensive. Today, we're going to go over the top 5 most expensive items on the show Pawn Stars, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Number 5, Jimi Hendrix's 1963 Fender Stratocaster guitar, $750,000. One of the most amazing items to ever come into the shop was Jimi Hendrix's 1963 Fender Stratocaster electric guitar. The serial number on the back of the guitar was the quickest way for them to identify it as the real deal, because that specific guitar is actually a documented Jimi Hendrix played guitar. When the owner brought it into the shop, he knew it had a ton of value, but was blown away when the guitar expert revealed his numbers of $750,000 to $1 million.
For a guitar that could fetch maybe $1 million on any day, your own guy just told you that? Okay, but we come off 450 grand. Yeah, I'm thinking 750 an auction. I can't leave that much money on the table. 750 really, man, that's a bottom dollar I can take for the guitar. This guitar's worth more than that. It just is.
If you want the money now, I can go 550.
Knowing that it could potentially fetch $1 million.
Number 4, the Beatles' original contract, $1 million. When it comes to music, the Beatles are among the 5 greatest musical groups of all time. Their music is timeless and continues to be played in 2019. They have sold 600 million albums around the world and have had 20 Billboard #1 hit songs since they decided to form their group nearly 60 years ago. But none of that would have been possible without an official contract, which was written up and signed by John Lennon, George Harrison, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and their manager Brian Epstein back in 1962. That original, and the only one in the world today, was brought into the store one day and the seller wanted a cool $1 million cash for it, not a penny less. It was a bit much and they simply had to pass. Number 3, Robosaurus, $1 million. There are only a few things that have ever passed through the doors of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop that were almost impossible to pass on, and the Robosaurus was easily one of them. The Robosaurus is a 40-foot tall robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex that can breathe fire and crush vehicles using his robotic hands. It is a legendary robot that was built in 1989 by Doug Milwicki, and has been featured on television and almost even got its own series on NBC in 1992. The owner's asking price was $5 million. To avoid offending the inventor of this amazing robot, they decided to not even counter with an offer and they just had to let it walk. Number 2, O.J. Simpson's white Ford Bronco, $1,250,000. O.J. Simpson's white Ford Bronco that he was in the day the LAPD was going to arrest him is one of the most iconic celebrity vehicles of all time. When he found out the police were coming, he panicked and took off, with Al Cowlings as the driver in the Ford Bronco. The pursuit turned into one of the most watched moments on television because nearly 130 million people tuned in to watch as he tried to outrun the cops. When it was brought to him for purchase, Rick could almost not turn away from this incredibly rare piece of American history. However, the owner was looking for $1.25 million, leaving Rick with a choice to make. He eventually had to pass. Number 1, George Washington's 3-piece colonial suit, $2,500,000. In honor of Pawn Stars' 500th episode, they decided they were going to do things a bit differently and go after big ticket items. So Rick headed off to see Brian, a private dealer, in regards to some presidential memorabilia that he was looking to sell. But when Brian unveiled the item, it was a 3-piece suit once worn by George Washington back in the 1750s. After the suit was unveiled, Rick was amazed and really wanted to buy it. But Brian, who bought it in an auction, was not really looking to sell and threw out an asking price of $3 million. He dropped it down to $2.5 million, but a deal never happened and Rick had to walk away empty-handed. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our content in the future.